The reviews of Forza Horizon 5 are in and they are crazy. Metacritic is off the chart, Digital Foundry jizzes over the graphics, and there are over 10 million people playing it. I was so excited to play this that I wrote this entire intro before I even got to download it. I was going to tell you that this is Forza Horizon 4 but better in every single way, so if you liked that game then this is a no-brainer. Just go buy it. But having sunk a significant time into the game now, is that still the story I want to tell? For those who don't know, Forza Horizon is the game series where you get points for doing absolutely everything, except driving well. Buy a car, you get points for that. Use that car to drive into a pole, there are points for that. Drift, points. High speed, points. Pass some traffic, points. Bounce off the ground, more points. The real challenge in Horizon is not to get points. Bet nobody's been able to achieve that one. The meat of the game is displayed in all its glory on the world map. Each star in this galaxy of icons is something to do, from a top speed challenge to a full-on racing championship. Some of these events are even part of the main gameplay loop and will progress what in Forza Horizon counts as a story. But most aren't, and some are even user-created events. Then in the menu there are even more things to do tied to these events, like here you need to do one of these events in the Nissan GTR. Complete that in your GTR and you get points towards a goal which can unlock a car. Okay, I guess I'll throw that one on the pile. Here's the thing. Everything is gamified in Horizon. Horizon is a game where every action is part of some sub-game. It's game inception. Drive around the map and you get skill points which unlock bonuses and wheel spins which give more credits and more points and more cars. Buy cars and this leads to more bonuses and more cars. Enter events and this gets you credits and wheel spins and skill points and all sorts of the points and accolades. Maybe someday you'll even get kudos and mileage points in coming DLC. I wouldn't be surprised. Because of this, you are constantly getting participation prizes. At any point in the game, except for the first few hours, you'll have more cars, more credits, and more event options than you'll know what to do with. And therein lies the problem with the Horizon formula. When my reward for doing something is just more of what I already have an abundance of, then I have no motivation to do it. I don't care about unlocking events because there are already more icons on the map than I have subscribers. And seriously guys, sub if you like the content. I don't care about unlocking cars because there are more cars that I haven't driven in my collection than those that I actually have driven. When a game has you collecting cars instead of driving them, then it's doing something wrong. And this lack of motivation to actually play the game as intended isn't helped by the Lackluster showcase events this time around. We have gone from racing against giant hovercraft ship things in Horizon 4 to these mighty jet skis. Even the volcano showcase, which I expected to be an absolutely epic race against flowing lava, turned out to be a sedate stroll around a national park. Even the music has taken a hit for the worse. This is a bit subjective and you can make your own mind up on this one. And that's my way of weaseling out because I don't want the copyright gods to smack me down. How dare anyone give them any free promotion? Forza Horizon 5 is basically 4 in a sombrero with some tweaks. In fact, I was going to do half this video with footage from the 4th game just to see if anyone would notice. The boot sequence is the same, the title menu is the same, the loading screen is the same, the menus are the same, the map is the same. Even the in-game loading is the same, right down to your car sitting at your house. Then once playing we have the same big showcase events, the same bespoke races, the same multiplayer options, it's the same all of the things. That's not to say there aren't differences. What most reviews consider to be the most impressive change this time around is the graphical overhaul. At times, Forza Horizon 5 can look absolutely spectacular. But then again, so did the 4th game. Putting them side by side, I'm not seeing the huge graphical leap spoken of in most reviews. There are probably more objects drawn on screen at any one time in Forza Horizon 5, but overall I'm not seeing any great visual leap here. Reviews have pointed to the impressive draw distance, and that's great. I like being able to see mountains 10 kilometers away in the distance, but it would be better if I could see a plant 100 meters away. When racing, I am not gazing at the horizon. I'm laser focused on the road ahead, and that is where the visual issues of Forza Horizon 5 lay. You see the game here running on max settings on a ridiculously high-end PC. You cannot get Forza Horizon 5 to look any better than it does here, yet the level of detail pop-in is rampant. And I want to stress this point, as many seem to mistake draw distance with the level of detail, usually referred to as LOD or LODs. The draw distance in Forza Horizon 5 is brilliant, let's get that straight. The LODs, however, are horrendous considering this is on maximum settings on a PC. You should be able to sacrifice performance or visual fidelity in order to push back the point where the trees and foliage pop to higher levels of detail. And then there's the visual bugs. These lines running across the road in front of you, for example, are the first thing many PC users would spot. More rare are the weird track glitches which plague specific sections of track. I am betting these glitches will be patched out, but at the time of writing this we have already had one major patch and it didn't fix anything I've mentioned so far, and judging by the previous game they will never give players the option to push out the level of detail to where it's no longer noticeable. And sorry to say, the visuals aren't the end of the glitches. Online play is a bit of a mess, specifically Eliminator. Eliminator is a mode where up to 72 players all start out in a beetle on a huge section of map bordered by a pretty pink circle. Go outside of that circle and you get a certain amount of time to get back in, else you are eliminated. And that circle isn't static either. Every now and then it will shrink. The map gets smaller and smaller as the event progresses. You can upgrade your car in two ways in Eliminator. Either challenge another player by getting close to them and beeping your horn at them, or you can find car drops scattered about the map and press a button when you get close enough to score that car. Lose a race and you are eliminated, but make it to the end and it's a final showdown race to a random destination on the map. It's a really fun mode, and honestly this is where I spend most of my time in Forza Horizon 5, but it's also where a huge amount of frustration comes from. For a start, the developers just throw you in there for your first time. Having never played this mode before in previous games because of course, online was broken on PC for me, so I had no clue what it was all about. I had to figure it all out myself over the first several matches. Challenges and car drops were easy to figure out via the nice icons that appear in game telling you what to do. But what happens if I go outside the barrier? I just had to test it. That weird pink line? I finally figured out that it's the direction to head in to get away from the shrinking barrier. But this is all a minor UX complaint. You eventually learn all of the things through just plain trial and error. What you can't do anything at all about though are the bugs. I had many matches where I never saw another car. I knew they were there though as car drops activated right before my eyes with no player in sight. In other matches I was left in the final showdown that never started. I had to explore life outside the barrier just to escape. Then there are all the occurrences where I did see cars but I could not challenge them. The icon was there, my horn was going like crazy but nothing happened, they just drove off. Or I got to a car dropped, pressed the button and nothing. It would not activate, or worse still, there were many instances where I was waiting for the game to start and saw car drops disappear before I even got control of the game. I had to run away from the other players with their higher level cars who seemed to start 30 seconds before I did. The only part of online play that seems to work reliably is the PvP racing. But even then you get matched up against only a handful of other players from a player base of 10 million. And PvP comes with its own issues. Primarily that you absolutely need a specific tune in order to win. You can't take a recommended car into these events because you are going to get absolutely smoked no matter how well you drive. Personally, I would like to see cars run stock in these events and instead have a special dedicated tuning series for those who like to play car sim mechanic in Forza Horizon. This has all gone a bit negative, hasn't it? But let's call it tough love because I do love the Forza Horizon series of games and number 5 is no exception. There will always be room on my drive for a game that lets me drive beautiful cars through an absolutely stunning world. And due to the open world nature of the game, there is always something to do while waiting for the dodgy online aspects to work, like go-kart bowling. Or maybe seeing if boats actually float. Not with an old Lambo, they don't. But the Horizon car list is so vast you can always find a car better suited to the job at hand. Like whatever this thing is. Now if we can get this boat to the water and what? Where did it go? And that right there is Forza Horizon 5. It's disorganized, buggy, and showing signs of running out of ideas. But I still love it, and if the idea of blasting through Mexico in your favorite car appeals to you too, then you just might love this game also.